This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I just have one thing to show in Tableau again. That's a small point which I couldn't cover before. So let's look at that first. Right. And day 77 underscore today's October 10th, 2020. So let's go. Okay. And some notes here. All right. So do we have most of them? Yeah, we do. So let's get started then. So here, there's one question, and I don't know how many of you can answer this question. So what is the difference between .tds and .tdsx? Can anyone try this question, answering this question, which is on the screen? What is the difference between TDS and TDSX? How do we get TDS file? Ayo, how do you get the .tds file when you upload your data source to
Hear you,
Tableau?
sir. No audio.
No audio.
Only the data about the data, not the data itself. TDS
Yes,
file, right?
right. So here .tds means it is the Tableau data source. And remember here when we say TDS means it contains only information about the data. Information about the data. That means if the data is available in SQL Server, then this TDS file will store information about this server details, the username, and what dimensions you have, what measures you have. That information will be stored in .tds file. It's a very important interview question and very recently asked one for one student, and he couldn't answer this question. So I just thought of covering that here. Let me just try to open one TDS file if it is available in my PC. There is, by default, there is one, but let's look at some TDS files which we have. Server 5. Okay, so we have some TDS file here. So you observe here there is TDS and the TDSX. Okay, so can you open TDS file? So open with here the notepad, and you can definitely see that in the readable format, and you can see that this file contains information about where is the data, information about where is the data available here. So if we look at this file, and so it is connecting to, you can observe this here. So that is the DB name, this is the directory, this is a port number, and this is a Tableau server. And so this is the database IP address, and this is the username, so where the data is stored. That means this TDS file contains only the information, but it does not contain any data. Please remember that. And if you check this file, so you will see few things about your data. And let me see that. So if you observe this, this is a metadata and it is a measure. So what is metadata? Data about the data. And the name of the measure is discount, and it has got some values, and the precision is something, so some attributes about that data, but it doesn't contain any data, right? And the TDSX file contains data.
TDSX contains also the data?
Yes, that's the difference here. Dot TDSX contains information and also data. TDSX file contains the information and also the data, but only TDS file contains only the information about where your data is available, how many columns, how many dimensions, how many measures, so some attributes. That means it contains only metadata, means a column names information and the data information, but TDSX contains data also. So which file is bigger in real time? .tdsx file will be of a bigger size because it contains data, and TDS file contains only information about data. That's a very important interview question. And this is very similar to the one which we saw before, TWB and TWBX. So what is the difference between both of them? This is a workbook and this is a packaged workbook. So this contains all the information about your reports and also the reports, isn't it? So this is Tableau packaged workbooks. Tableau packaged workbook, and this is just Tableau workbook. And so I'm just putting the different extensions which we talked about. TDS, this Tableau data source, and TDSX, which is packaged, or let's put like this, a Tableau packaged data source. So when there is a word package, that means it contains data as well. Okay. And apart from this here, so I want to show one more extension today. But before that, can we list out how many extensions we understood? There was another. What is extension for map source? TMS, isn't it? Is that right? Tableau map source. Any other extensions? TDE. What is TDE? Tableau data extract, isn't it? And we know Hyper. So Hyper is like much more advanced version of TD. Any other extensions? So this is also one interview question. So what all extensions have you worked in Tableau, or what all you know in Tableau? That's it. Is there anything else missing? Okay, let's keep this open. There is another one here, which is TBM. Any old students available here? So what is TBM full form?
Tableau bookmarks.
Tableau bookmarks. Oh, Mahesh, you are here. Very nice. Tableau bookmarks. Okay. Let's see that. So what is a Tableau bookmark? We never saw about this. So let's quickly say this. Okay, here also you have this TDS files. So I'll come to this. By default, Tableau gives these files, and let's see that. But before that, let's say file connect to the server. I know server is down, so I'm taking local PC DB 1, 2, 3. Needed. Okay, so what do we understand about TBM is you can take the bookmark and then you can send it to any of your colleagues or your leads or managers. But how do we use that? Isn't it? How do we use that? Let's build some 2 sheets very quickly. So region-wise sales and sheet 2 subcategory-wise sales. And then can I have some coloring as well? So very quick coloring. And here I would say if, oh, I'll just say here sum of sales greater than 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so do we have greater than 1 lakh? Chance. Okay, let's put that here. And let's put into the colors. So I'm not using if conditions. I just set sum of sales greater than some number. So it gives me either true or false. That's still fine. Now there are 2 sheets which I have, but my requirement is I have to send only this sheet information to my lead or to my manager. I don't want to send any other sheets, whatever you develop. I don't want that. Then is it possible to save sheet wise in Tableau? No, it's not possible, isn't it? So when you say save as, then it's saving as a complete workbook. No, I don't want complete workbook. Give me only one sheet. Can you save the sheet wise information? Yeah, should be possible. So how it is possible is just take a bookmark and then save it and then send that file to somebody else. So how to take a bookmark here is, so go to the window option and you will find bookmark and then create a bookmark. Then it creates a bookmark only for this current sheet but not for every sheet. So here let's say create a bookmark and observe the extension here. It is .tbm, so which is Tableau bookmark. And this is about, what is this here? Subcategory wise sales. Okay. Sorry, what happened? So bookmark and then, oh, it took here automatically. Let's create one more. You can rename them, but I didn't rename that properly. So subcategory wise sales. And let's say save, but before that, let's delete it because we did not save that properly. So let's delete that. So again, subcategory wise sales, then say this. Now what I want to do is, there is something else. I mean, now I'm trying to do it as a lead or as a manager. So when this is useful is, I need to develop 4 worksheets, but there is a very less time for me. There is 1 day time and I have to develop 4 different worksheets. Then I will give this work to 4 different users. So 4 users works on creating 4 different sheets. So sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and sheet 4. Now as a lead, what I'll do is I'll combine all of these fellows' work into one Tableau workbook. All right, so does that make sense? So when can this be useful? When you are sharing your work, then collect all the bookmarks from each one of them and then combine that into one Tableau workbook. Okay, so is that possible? Let's take a look. So now I'm opening this with some other user, and let's say 1, 2, 3. Open. Say ABC. Then let's have something here. Then go to sheet 1. Now here I'm building something else here. So category wise and the sales is what I want to show. Sales profit, something else. Okay. Now this sheet 2, which is developed by somebody else. Now I want that information here. All right, so I want that information here. So how do I get that bookmark which we saved here? So where is that bookmark getting saved? Go to documents, Tableau repository. There will be the first folder, which is bookmarks. First folder looking in the last class. Excellent. So you can see that this is the one which we saved, isn't it? All right. Now how to insert this into the current sheet? So simple. Again, go to the same menu, Windows, and then go to the bookmarks. And here you can see what all bookmarks are available. So just place those bookmarks in that folder. And if you open Tableau, then you should be able to see the same bookmarks here. Right, so click on that. And I'm getting the data here. So I'm getting the data here. And can I replace the data now? So I don't want two data sources. So you can replace this with this. So go to sheet 1, and then let's say here, replace the data source. And then which one? Which one? So replace this with this. Okay. And then, so both of them will use only one data source. And then let's get rid of this. And if you remember, we have created a calculated field as well in that bookmark. Is that coming up here? Yeah, it is coming up here, isn't it? So it carries all the information what you created there. And I can just insert them, and now I have only one data source. But the sheet designed by somebody else. So I can just combine all of them and prepare one final workbook and prepare one dashboard. Right. So that's how you can use these bookmarks. And the question comes to you in a different way. Can you save a single sheet in a Tableau workbook? So till yesterday, so no, we cannot save, isn't it? Because we don't know. But today, once you know the bookmark concept, then, so yes, it is definitely possible. We can save single sheets as well, but with the help of the bookmarks. And the extension here comes TBM, which is a Tableau bookmark. Okay, this is for sheet-wise saving information. Okay, so please remember, these are different bookmarks we have, and that is what I wanted to show. And one more thing here. So by default, if you have observed, when you had installed Tableau Desktop, so if you go to the data sources folder and the version of your desktop, and when you get into this folder, there is a TDS folder, isn't it? So there is a folder named ENUS, and inside that it contains some information about your default bookmarks here. Sorry, default data sources. Now, if you observe, I said there is no data available here, isn't it? So there is no data available here. So can I directly open this here? So let's say open. So if you open that, do I get any data from that? Now let's take a look within a minute. Let's keep that open. Okay, so here I'm able to see the columns, and what about the number of records? Let's pull that here. Oh, now you can see that, oh, TDS means data. I said it doesn't contain any data, but when I open this file, now I'm able to see number of records. Right, so again confusion. So where it is getting the data from? Okay, I want to understand from where it is getting the data. So let's edit this with the notepad and observe here from where it is trying to get the data. And if we observe that carefully, somewhere we should find that information. So it is trying to take the class from Excel. That means it is trying to get data from Excel here. So there's a file name, so which is XLS. So if you observe that this TDS is built based on the Excel file. And where is this Excel file? Here is the Excel file. So that means that this TDS file is referring to this file, and so we are getting data from this Excel file. So which is very clear in the XML file. Okay, if that is true, then what I want to do is, so just close this and let's rename this Excel file. All right, so let's rename this Excel file to something else. But now do you still get the data in this TDS file is the question. So where is this TDS file? So let's get that. Right, let's refresh this here. And now you see that there is a message that I don't see the data source. Now did you observe? This TDS file contains only the information where the data is available. It contains only the information, but it doesn't contain the data. All right, so please remember this very, very important question. I'm hearing this very frequently nowadays. So this is what about TDS files. But TDSX contains the data in the file itself. Okay, that's the only difference. Now let's replace this here back, and let's delete this, and then save that, and then let's say here refresh one more time. That's gone. So let's say locate the file manually, then it automatically populating from this file. Right, so that's how they build these files. And so if you want to practice different things, so there is also this world indicators. If this is some kind of data, you can definitely try practicing a few things from this, prepare a nice story, and develop a dashboard based on the data. Okay, so that was a thing which I wanted to just make sure you are aware of that. So apart from that, so what do we understand, what do we learn today is some brief concepts about how do you get your day-to-day work in your companies. So how do you get your day-to-day work in the companies is, so you have to, the companies follows SDLC. So this follows a model, so which is called as the software development life cycle. So every company follows this model. So there are so many models in this life cycle, and it varies from company to company which model we have to follow. Anyone who is already working in any companies? Let me look at the chat window. Sandeep, so what model does your company follow in TCS? Sandeep, can you hear me? Okay, your child. I'm not sure if Sandeep can hear or not. So most of the companies follows agile methodology nowadays, but there is one company which still follows a very old traditional one, which is a waterfall model. There are still some companies, I would say very few companies, which are still using the very old, the first model, I would say, which is a waterfall model. So what I want you to do is just try to understand how many models we have here. That means how do you develop a software? What is a life cycle of that? And how do you do it phase by phase? And who does that? Who will take a lead? So go through that information. But here I'll just put some information here. So the first phase we do is a requirement analysis. Sorry, requirement gathering. Right, so this will be done by the business analyst. They will visit the client location and they will gather the information, what they want, and that will be again documented. That will be documented and that will be again signed out by both parties, the company and the client. So once you have all the requirements with you, then you have to analyze whether you can do them or not. Do you have the technical skills? Do you have the technology? Do you have the resources? Do you have the number of resources to manage that? What are the difficulties? What are the challenges? And when we can do that? So that things will be analyzed in this phase. And then the design phase begins. And this design phase contains two things. That means every phase has some output. So here you will get HLDs and LLDs. HLD is a high-level design document and LLDs are low-level design documents. And this will be the input for Tableau developers. So what you have to develop should be clearly mentioned in these type of documents, which are called as low-level design documents. So this documents contains, for a Tableau developer, what type of reports you have to use, what data sources, where they are available, and how many reports, and each report, does it use the same database or the different database, how many tables, which table name, which column names, and how you have to join them. Even that information will also be given by your design manager. That means here you will have the project managers, so who will be working on this, and they will be delivering these two products. That means these two outputs, which will be in the form of DOCX if you are still following the old traditional ways, but nowadays everyone are using tools where you can capture the requirements in the software, then put that information in the software and you can access them and you can look at them, what you have to do, how you have to do, and everything, detailed information will be there in these documents. So the Tableau developer, he has to get the requirement documents, analyze the requirements, and then they'll start working on your products. And nowadays everyone are using the tools and they will use the ticketing system. That means your lead or manager will assign the work based on the tickets. Let's say, for example, we have to deliver 10 reports to customer in 3 months. Right? So in these 10 reports, what will be the first reports which we have to deliver? Means they have to they have to prioritize. So when I say they, who will do this is the development managers, your manager, your product owners. They will discuss this with the customer or the stakeholders, And then they will identify what are the priority reports which I have to build. So then they will pick, okay, so fourth report and the sixth report and then ninth report are priority ones. And what happens to the remaining tickets? They will be sitting under the backlog. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8, comma 10. So these reports will be placed under the backlog. So you have to tell these words as it is. Right? So the tickets will be prioritized and the other tickets will go to the backlogs. Who will do all these things? This will be done by the product owners. Right? So this will be done by the product owners. And who will maintain all these activities? So this will be maintained by the Scrum Masters. Right? So the Scrum Master can be your lead or can be your senior Tableau developer, and they will be called as a Scrum Masters. So why Scrum? Because in Agile methodology, which is one type in this, you will find the terms product owners, Scrum Masters, and the team members. Team members are nothing but Tableau developers. Okay. So everything will be based on ticketing system, and you will be given like 1 week time. Let's say, for example, so 1 week time you have to complete these things. So maybe how many resources we have? 3 resources I have. So 1 report per 1 developer. This is what you will be assigned with. So that means you will have 1 week time to develop 1 report. This is just the assumption, so don't think it will be only 1 week. So if you follow Agile methodology, then generally it will be of 15 days, or I'll stick to 2 weeks cycle. This will be the 2 weeks cycle, out of which here 75% of the time will be for developers and 25% time will be for testers. Of the time will be for testers. So yes, you will have Tableau testers as well. So they will validate again step by step how many layouts you have, how many reports you developed, and are the reports as per the client expected report types. So is it a line chart? Yes. So you have to validate. Yes, in my report it is a line chart. And what about the coloring system? What about the filters? What about the drop downs? What about the calculated fields? So did you write all calculated fields correctly? That means you have to validate the data. And are you showing the correct time frame data? So like that, you will have like 10 to 15 steps which the testers will be testing on once you complete your work. And after these 2 weeks, then it will be delivered to the client systems. Okay, so where we are, so we are in the design phase, isn't it? So once this design phase is done, so then we start developing. So that means this part will be coming up here. And then after development is complete, then you have to test it. So that is what the testers will be doing. And then the project goes into the maintenance mode. Maintenance. That means if your client requires any changes there, so again you have to do it for free for the first 3 months. After that it will be chargeable again. But that depends on the contract with your customer. But these are the different phases of SDLC, and this SDLC has got so many models, like V model, iterative models. I'll just put that here. So if you are interested, you can go through that. Waterfall model, let's put it in the order. So fish model, and then prototype model, and then iterative model, incremental model, iterative plus incremental model, and then spiral model, and then V model, and then agile. So you have so many models available in the market. But so what models you want to pick it up? So that will be decided by your company. And this was a very popular model. This we call it as a VV, verification and validation model. So you can also call it as VV, but this is a very famous one. And now everyone shifted to Agile because of its so many advantages we have. So in Agile methodology, which one we use? You have again so many methodologies. So in this, you can say that we are using Scrum. We are using Scrum in Agile methodology, right? And what does that Scrum do? This is what they do. So that means everything is organized. You deliver things very quick. You can accept changes from the customer. You can develop that as soon as you get any requirement. You can handle that easily. And the customer has a view on what you are doing for every 15 days. So many advantages there. Okay, now the question is, what is the role of a Tableau developer? What does Tableau developer do on a day-to-day basis? Very important question. So Tableau developer should say, sir, I'll start looking at the requirements based on the documents or based on the tools, and I'll look at how many reports I have to develop and which type of
Hello? Online?
which products you have to develop, and then what data sources I have to use, how much time I have, and I need to start gathering all my requirements from the document. And then you try to analyze, okay, is the data available, or do you have to clean up the data, or do you need any SQL queries? So then you start looking for collecting the data, and you'll have the ETL team with you. So you just need to ask the ETL team, hey, can you give me the SQL query for this requirement? And then they would provide you the SQL queries if needed. And then once you have that, again, clean the data. So which columns you need, which tables you need, and gather that information and collect them, and then only you start preparing your reports. So this takes a day or sometimes 2 days if you are not getting the right SQL queries. That's collecting the data takes some time, and then cleaning the data if you want to split any columns, if you want to remove unwanted things. So this takes some time to prepare the data. And then once I have the data ready, then I start analyzing which type of report to build. And we need to understand the KPIs. So what KPIs I should use? KPIs means what? It is the performance indicators, key performance indicators. So client will tell you, okay, if the sales is above 1 lakh, then show me in this format. If it is below, show me in this format. So this will be one KPI. If it is a healthcare system, so how many patients are coming into your hospital every day for admission? If it is greater than some number, then show that, okay, it is good number. If it is less, then show that, okay, it's very less. So how many patients incoming, how many outgoing? So you will get that kind of KPIs from your customers. If it is a sales domain, then what is the profit ratios, or what is the number of profits versus something else, or how much sales we have, sales versus budgeted sales, and so how many products comparisons. So everything you will get from the customer. So they'll give you that KPIs. Right? So this will be the key one. So you need to understand these well. So what we have to say. So I'll look at the KPIs, and what I need to prepare, I'll prepare the logics, and then we start building the reports. And every day I also attend the Scrum calls. So please say this line, very, very important. Every day Tableau developer will attend Scrum calls. That means we also call it as the daily stand-up call. All right, so I'll just put that here. So it is a Scrum call, or it is a daily stand-up call. You have to say exactly the same words. So what you do in this is, so every Tableau developer or every developer will join this meeting. This will be conducted by your manager or your lead, and then you have to say your status, what you are doing today, what you will be doing after the call, what you will be doing tomorrow, and do you have any challenges. But if you are developing something and you are not getting that, so you have to open up and you have to say in that call. You can say like, I started building this report, I'm working on this ticket, I'm working on this report, I built three charts, and I'm just having some queries on the fourth one. So your lead will look into that query. Hey, what questions do you have? So just put that here, and they'll try to give their suggestions, and then you will get back and start working on that. So when you say what you do on a daily basis, so please mention this point without fail. Very, very important one. Okay, and so you can say like, yeah, I do attend the daily Scrum calls and discuss with my lead or manager about what I'm doing and what I'll be doing tomorrow. And then, so you will also be, sometimes you have to interact with the clients, or you can say stakeholders, in understanding or clearing the requirements. So sometimes it will not be very clear on what you have to develop. So even your lead or manager will not be able to help. Then we have to arrange a call with the client, and then we have to ask our queries. Hey, I didn't get this point. Can you please elaborate? Then you have to collect the information again from your client and start working on them. And once your work is complete, then at the end, you have to also do a very quick demo of what we developed. Right? So directly, remember, we don't publish it to the customers. We will give a short demo of what we developed, the final dashboard or individual sheets, whatever it can be, and take their inputs. Their input means whose inputs? It can be the client, or it can be your project manager, and take the inputs and take the feedback and then apply that, modify as per their inputs. And then once you are done, then what you have to do, then that ticket will be closed. Right? So you will be assigned with some ticket. Let's say the project is, let's say something like this, HC1214. This will be the ticket number. So this will be the combination like the project and then the number. And then this has a status as well. So first it will be open, then it will be assigned, then it will be in development, and then it will be resolved, and then it will be moved to QA, and then it will be moved to closed. So this ticket will have the status as well. So as you go on, then you have to change the status. So if you're done with the development of a report, then you have to move it to resolved state. That means it is complete. Then somebody else will pick it up, they will test it, and then it will go to the close. So here we follow a small process again, which is STLC. So which starts from this part. So once you go to QA, then again here you will have STLC, which is software testing life cycle. So they have their own life cycles. And finally, when everything is good, then it will be closed. And this will be happening within 15 days period, that we call it as a sprint cycle or a scrum cycle. So this should be complete within that, not only for one ticket, for every ticket which you have in your list. Okay, so that's what we do. So everything follows a process. So without this process, if you try to explain them, then it will be clear that you did not work anywhere in real time. It's very straightforward. So this is a thing which I wanted to share with you. So what is the role, day-to-day activities of a Tableau developer? So any questions so far? Okay, so I'll take it as no.
Hello,
Right.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
who will be estimated time? Who will be give the estimated time, sir?
Your manager.
Is there any restriction? 4 to 5 years, 6 years developers will give. Can I give estimated time?
No. So estimation time will come from the top. So if your manager says this requirement you have to do in 2 days, you have to finish that in 2 days. There is no deviations allowed.
Okay.
No. Maybe in small companies where there is no process, then also again your manager only gives you the estimation, but here and there you can just cross that, but not for too many days. Maybe for a day, maximum 1 day, we can say to the client that I'll deliver it tomorrow. But when you talk about a level 5 companies, if there is a delivery on a day, then it has to be delivered on that day. So there will be no deviations at all. So you can imagine now, once you get a requirement, you have to finish it no matter what. You cannot say, I don't know, sir, I'm not getting the chart. No, so the company doesn't listen to you. If you say deliver, you have to deliver. Okay, so that's what the deadlines are. That's where you see people keep on working even on Saturdays, Sundays, and they will be completing the deadlines. Yeah, that's a very good practice, and of course that you have to follow them. Yes, please.
So how will be the team structure in general, sir, in any company?
How will be
Team structure, sir.
team structure? Okay, so team structure will be very simple. So you will have a project lead or project manager, and under that there will be a lead. So Tableau lead, I'll just say lead, so that fellow can be leading all BI tools. And under the lead, you will have the senior developers, and then you will have just developers. So this is the only very simple structure you have.
Sir, I heard that most probably Tableau team will be like very small, it will be of 8 to 12 members in general, like that I have heard.
Correct. So most of the times it can be less than 10. Ideally, less than 10. So most of the times you don't need hundreds and hundreds of developers. So for a report, 10 people are more than enough. So I would say 10 or less than 10. Ideal one. So maybe if you have 2-3 projects, project 1, project 2, so maybe here you 5 Tableau developers only for this project and this project. I'm not telling less than 10 for a company. So I'm pointing this number to the project.
Okay, okay, fine.
The developers. But if you take the whole company, then if your company is having 10 different projects, so then they might need 50 Tableau developers. Most of the times you will be swapped between different projects. So this will be happening very frequently. So you work for 3 months in one project and then you will be moved to project 2. And on day 1, you will be working on project 2. You don't have any time as well. So immediately you start working on project 2. Okay. So that's how it works.
Sir, now our friends are getting employed now, sir, recently. Will they get any KT or any knowledge regarding their previous projects, and they will also provide any other training, or they will directly make them to work on projects? Sir?
They'll give maximum 1 to 2 days, I would say, not more than that. Within 1 to 2 days, you will get all required KT. And they use the word as it is. KT is knowledge transfer. And they'll try to tell you what the project is about, where the data source is about, and what is the process you follow. And they'll provide you the logins to different applications, and where you have to download the Tableau desktop versions. And hardly 1 to 2 days is a maximum time what they give you. If you are very lucky, then you might get 7 days. If you are very lucky, but 1 to 2 days is the maximum time, I would say, for most of the cases.
In MLC, they will provide again they will train it.
Not really. If it is a very big project, they'll train you on the project. That means who is your client and where is the data, how you have to get the data, what is the ETL team doing, where it is available, and whom you should contact and how you should contact, and what is the project architecture. So this kind of thing, they'll finish it off very quickly. I can say like 5 days is a maximum time. But I saw most of them only 1 hour peak. Right? When you join a company at 10 o'clock, by 11 you do your induction, and from 12 they gave like 1 hour training, and after lunch you start building the reports. Right from day 1 you are building the reports. There are some fellows who are very lucky to have this kind of things. But yeah, I'd say 1 to 2 days is maximum KT time which they give you. If you are lucky enough, then it is a very big project, or if the project is in the pipeline, then you will have little free time where you can understand getting things closer to your new colleagues, talk to them, understand them, and nobody supports you for the first 10, 15. Nobody supports you. You are on your own. Because they'll have some fear that this fellow has more experience, and why I should help him, I should support him. There are a lot of politics inside them, but outside is very bad. Help each other. First 3 months is a testing period for you. So if you are putting some fake experience, so if you can cross first 3 months in any company you join, then you will settle down. But if you cannot survive the first 3 months, then you cannot do any job in any company. So you have to survive first. Very difficult.
Sir, generally our colleagues, they will come to know, no, sir, like whether we are producing fake experience or like whether we have got knowledge from the base.
Good question. You have asked a very good question. I'll tell you, right from day one, you should not reveal this to anyone if you are putting the fake experience. Right from day one, you should never reveal to any one of you, even though they are a close colleagues. So don't reveal this option. This will prove you very, very dangerous. You will lose your job. So don't reveal that. So pretend like you are an experienced developer. Even though they might suspect you, but still just pretend that you are a genuine Tableau developer with this much of years of experience. That's a very, very important point. So don't ever reveal this information. So this will cost you your job.
Okay.
Okay, very important point. Okay. Good. So any other questions? Okay, and I have got a few things to talk about. All right, so the first interview question will be, tell me about yourself. Right, so make use of this opportunity. Most of them make one common mistake here. So they start speaking about where you studied your 10th class, intermediate, engineering. So the other person doesn't really care about all those details. Right? So you have to say that you have to start like you started your career after completing graduation from this college. You started your career on this, and you are very much interested towards data, understanding the data. So that's where you got into your first job, and you have utilized your skills there, and your reports were very useful for the end users, and that's where your company liked you very much, and your company can rely on you for any typical requirements or for any urgent deliveries, because you understand the data very well. So you should say in that fashion. All right, so that means you have to tell your work related things in this point. So the other person looks at you like, why I should hire you? So this is what you have to convince, that I'm good in this skill, I'm good at that. My previous company was dependent on me because I'm the one who can understand the things and deliver things very quickly, and I could communicate things well to my end user. And most of the times I work independently without much support from my leads or managers. So that's where I stand a little different from my existing team. So you have to tell about yourself in such a way that you are an important person to any company, right? But don't talk about your graduation marks or your intermediate or 10th marks now. So only speak about the technology, only speak about your willingness to work on different things. You want to learn things quickly, you want to take up the challenging task. That's where you have to focus on. Okay, so please prepare the text and prepare a document what you have to tell, and repeat this point very frequently, because this one point will tell you 50% should I hire this fellow or not, based on what you explain, how you explain. Okay, and then so resume is one very important point which you have to present very clean fashion. So you should definitely have professional summary. Don't keep the objectives in the resumes. So if you are putting up the experience, then you don't need an objective. Then only just put your professional summary, and which should cover minimum of 12 points. So this is a minimum 12 points, like what you are very good at. For example, so I'm very good at developing interactive dashboards for different requirements. Very good in preparing different types of charts. Good expertise in writing the SQL queries by connecting to different sources. So like that, you have to put your professional summary minimum of 12 points. And in this 12 points, so 1 point is mandatory for SDLC. You have to say that I'm good in the process as well, and keep 1 or 2 points for Tableau server as well, and 1 point for SQL. All right. So if you're not very good in SQL, just say good understanding of SQL concepts, good understanding of the Tableau server concepts, right, and expertise or experience in following the SDLC, and then keep remaining points for Tableau desktop. Right. So these points are very, very, very useful. Right. And then it should be something of your technical specifications. So this should involve like what desktop versions you have worked on based on your experience, and what databases you are aware of. And apart from this, if you have knowledge on any of the programming languages like Python or Java or C, put that word, and any web technologies you know. So put that information in technical summary, and make sure most of the time, so we put these two on page number 1. And so make sure you cover these professional summary and technical specifications on the first page, and highlight what you are very good at. Only put what you are very good at. Right? So if you don't know any concept, don't put that in the resume. That's very problematic. Okay. And next page, you will have to place some projects. So there are some projects where you can rely on, where you are getting calls. You will have good calls for this, and good calls for this, and even for this. So if you take the order, if you are putting the healthcare, then you will get very good calls. But the problem is understanding the terminology in this healthcare projects. So what terminologies they have. Unless you really work on this healthcare, you really don't know how many terminologies you have here. But the other two are very simple ones. So put the retail projects or the financial projects, because everything deals with money, sales, profits, revenues, ratios, customers, then growth, then declines, the trends, forecast is what you will find in these two things. All right, so if you're not very familiar with this, so don't keep this, but you can definitely keep the retail or the finance projects, because it deals with money, isn't it? But healthcare, interestingly, doesn't deal with the money most of the time. So it deals with the patients, it deals with the physicians. So what I'm not calling as doctors. So we should not say doctors. The terminology there we use is physicians, right? We have like that terminologies. We have the transcriptionist, physicians, and then and then you have so many things here like A, D, T, and then you have some M or N, and then you have HL7. This is a specifications which are used in the healthcare industries. Like this, the list goes on. So you have a very big list for healthcare. And this healthcare, again, you can have like for insurance policies, or it can be for hospital related, it can be the pharmacy related, or it can be comparing the medicines, the development of medicines, and which we call them as vitals when you give them for any patients. So we call them as vitals. So there are a lot of terminologies involved if you put this healthcare projects, but make a good groundwork. So Google is one very good place, but you have to spend a lot of time in understanding the project and its terminologies. So do that same thing for retail and finance. Look at different dashboards, look at the terminologies they are using. Use the same terminologies in your project explanation as well. All right, yes, the terminology plays a very important role when you are explaining your projects. So do a very good groundwork on these projects. All right, so unless you do that, you cannot really explain well. All right, and what is your roles and responsibilities? Yeah, we just discussed before what you do as a Tableau developer. And what are the challenges or what are the complex things you have worked on? So what are the things you can say, like there's a problem with the data, there are problems with identifying the right reports, and there are complexities in replacing the data sources, and then complexities in writing LODs, the calculations, and there are some complexities in building the dashboards as well. Right, so talk about different things here. So prepare at least some 5 to 10 different dashboards. Right, so prepare yourself some 5 to 10 different dashboards, and then look at what complexity you are facing when you are developing this. Maybe the calculated fees. This is one challenge for everyone. So how to write correctly? And yesterday somebody was asking, so how to build a half star, isn't it? So that's one requirement. If it is a half star, that is a challenging one, isn't it? So you have to talk about all those challenges, what you faced. And yeah, day-to-day activities, we just discussed that. So prepare about this, prepare in a document for yourself or write in a notebooks what you have to speak about. Practice them a lot and then only attend the interviews. I would say the first call you get, you have to crack it. All right, because interview calls are difficult to get, but once you get any call, so I would like to take this one. First interview, crack it and get the job. So there's no second opportunity. You have to crack them. So it needs a groundwork. So take 1 week time, 1 week to 10 days, and prepare yourself and take the help of your seniors who are attending the interviewers. Gather the information and then apply for the resumes, apply for the jobs. Okay. So this is what I wanted to say. And this document contains some common questions, but this is a very old document, but still it has got some very good questions, I would say, some common questions you have. And prepare answers for these questions yourself. All right, so prepare answers for these questions and evaluate them. Is it right? Is it wrong? So understand them, and then you are good to start attending the interviews. But if you want to have any mock interviews, we can really do that, but you have to send the resume, and we can do that only on Saturdays. Right? So it's all about what I wanted to speak today with you. And yeah, I just forgot one last. Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you just repeat the day-to-day tasks of a Tableau developer?
Day-to-day tasks. So did we write there anywhere? So here it is. So you have to start working on the tickets, understand the requirements, understand the data sources, understand the KPIs, and then look at the ticket which is assigned, how much duration you have, and then start building the reports, and then attend the daily Scrum calls, and then present them what you are doing. And once you are done, you have to demo the final output to your lead, your manager, and then upload it to the next level, which it goes to QA. And finally, we have to deliver that to the customer. Most of the time, you will be spending on developing reports only, but follow process. Okay. So what I forgot here is, let's go to the D drive and A drive. Now, components, yeah, it's talking about these components here. The components, yeah, this is a list. So we know what is Tableau Desktop, and it is a licensed one, and Tableau Server, also the licensed one. So desktop used for development, Tableau Server is used for sharing the reports and creating the users, giving the access, maintaining things in the server. Then what is Tableau Reader? So we did not talk about what is a Tableau Reader. So before we got the Tableau Server, we got this Tableau Reader. This is a application. This is an application again, and you don't need to pay anything for that. There is no license. But why did we use this Tableau Reader is person 1 developed the final report, and there is some other person 2 wants to look at that report. So assume that you have the Microsoft Word and you have to send this Word to somebody else for review. But you don't want to give like edit permissions. You just want to have them a look what it is. Then can we convert this Word into Acrobat Reader or PDF files? So why we convert things into PDF? We want to give them only read-only access. So they just should view the content. They should not do any modifications. So similarly, we used to develop Tableau workbooks. And if we want to share these workbooks to somebody else, then we used to ask them, hey, install Tableau Reader. Then I'll send my workbook. Then that fellow, once he installs Tableau Reader, then he used to open some existing workbooks. Right? So that will be in read-only mode. So you can download this from the internet for free. And where is this Tableau Reader? Do I have that available? So observe here. This is a Tableau Reader, which is in the red colored one. Open that. So the name itself says it is Reader. So let's see what we can do with that. It's taking some time, so let's wait. This is a read-only application. This is unable to start due to the problem with the still. Oh, it went away. So what problem does it has? Okay, you have all the controls here. Okay, still fine. So it just has to open that. And maybe we installed it as another user. All right, let's download it. Should be real quick. Should not take much time as well. All right, so many tabs opened. Okay, that's fine. So no worries. I'll install a new one. download Tableau Reader. Click on that and let's say download now. So it's start downloading. 396 MB. Oh my god, it's a very big one. All right, so let's wait until it finishes the download. Should be done in less than 10 seconds. Come on. It's done. Let's install this. Oh, there's a screen here. Accept the license, and I don't want to send my product usage. It's not needed. So it needs some admin permissions, which I gave just now. Sorry. Okay, so installation is still going on, running. Reader. Right, so while it takes some time, so what we do here is let's go to another one, which is tableaupublic.com. So this is very similar to Tableau Online or Tableau Cloud. So please make use of this. This is very, very helpful till you get a job. The reason here is, so everyone is making use of this to upload their reports into this public site. So you can get a number of dashboards, number of reports, which are published by so many users, and it is free. So what you have to do here is you have to click on sign up first, complete your registration, and then try to log in with your registered details. And so I have an account here. So this is my username and password. So if you click on sign in, then you can see like what reports did I publish to Tableau Public. There are some dummy reports here which I published here. But how to publish to Tableau Public? So you might get a question, isn't it? So what you can do here is, observe, there's one limitation here. So let's say server and then publish my workbook. So here you can make use of this URL, so public.tableau.com. So click on this URL and then say here connect. Okay, reader is popping up in between. Still fine. So let's say here connect. And you have to enter here Tableau public user ID and the password. So I have to enter that username and password. So let's see that here gmail.com and let's click on sign in. Okay, it says invalid. That's nice. Okay, so I took the valid account and this time it should give me an error message. Yeah, so observe here, I could not publish this workbook. So why I could not publish this workbook? Because it uses the live connection. Remember, if you want to publish to Tableau, then the live connections does not work. Because if you publish the live connection, then you are making it accessible to entire public. Then you have to make use of only extracts. You have to make use of only extract files and then create your reports and then publish it to Tableau Public. Right? And even that is very clear here. So this is the reason I could not publish to Tableau Public. But if you have the extract file, then I can definitely publish this to Tableau Public. All right, so what we do here is, let's do some activities here. So erase all drawings and let me add some file system here. And let's say test, does it has data? Yeah, it's data. Limitations, so which we have to remember that. Okay, so go to the sheet, then replace. See here also we have live, but I'll change that to extract. And then let's say here data, replace the data sources here. This one, yes, please. And then close this connection. That was a DB. And but still here we are still using live, so let's put it to extract. And then go to the sheet, and then save this file. So we can only publish the file systems which are of extract connections to Tableau Public. So let's go to the server, publish the workbook. And did you see now? It is asking what is the title you want to give. So my title is, say, July 2020 batch. And say save. So now this is publishing to Tableau Public. So this will be available for everyone who are using Tableau Public here. So let's wait for a second. It gets published and then come here, refresh this, and I should be able to see the one which I uploaded from Tableau Desktop. Which one is that? This one. So you can view that in Tableau Public. And remember, for one user, you can use only 10 GB. So for one user in Tableau Public, you can publish workbooks up to only 10 GB space. It means the total space for you allocated is 10 GB, not more than that. So till that you can publish so many workbooks to Tableau Public. So what I would recommend is create your beautiful resume in Tableau Public look at some resumes in Tableau Public, and then create one, load this into public, and then use this URL, put this URL in your resume. Saying that, so you can also access my resume. You can see my skills in Tableau, where you can download this from Tableau Public. Right. So why I said create a resume is create your resume and publish to Tableau Public, and then give this URL or use this URL in your resume, and that will be easily accessible by anyone to see what skills you know, how much confident you are in Tableau desktop. Right, so make use of this Tableau Public. Right, but remember, you can only use extract files to publish to Tableau Public, but not live connections. Okay, that's one limitation. And what about Tableau Reader? So this is a Tableau Reader, and register. This should be a free application, so there's no license for this. And here, browse for file. Yeah, I want to see something here. Let's say sample workbook 1. Let's say open. So Tableau Reader is an application where you can view the workbooks, but you could not edit, you could not change, could not modify. Now this is a read-only application. So this is how it looks like. So you can see the outputs, just you can see things here like this. Right. So you can do some interactions as well, but you cannot change anything or modify anything. Right. So this is a Tableau Reader application. But this question might come in a different way. We got this one time. So I have a user in the US and he doesn't have Tableau Desktop installed. So how can he see my workbook? This was the question. So then we can say that we can ask him to install Tableau Reader, and I'll send this workbook in an email, and he can view the output in Tableau Reader. Right. So we got this question once, but it's good to know how to make use of Tableau Reader. All right. And let's go back to the list of components we had. That was a reader, only viewing things. Public, you can share this to entire public. And mobile, so you can have this installed in your devices. Did anyone try this mobile? Now you cannot, because server is down. You cannot really see what is there. But when the server was up and running, you could have seen, log in to Tableau Mobile and see your reports. Have anyone done this? Maybe the answer is no. Very bad. Yeah, very good, Harish. You did at least one person. That's nice. And Tableau Online is very similar to Tableau Server. Only the URL changes, and online is nothing but Tableau Cloud Systems. And sometimes you will be even working on this if you are into the very big companies. They'll use only cloud systems. No Tableau Desktop installed on your PCs. Everything will be on the cloud. And Tableau Visible, then you can have this on the tabs which you have. But I don't know if anyone have tabs, then try Tableau installed on the tabs as well. And the reports will be really very beautiful in the tabs. It's only on iOS, it's not there on Android things. And there was one more which was Tableau Prep, which is used for the data preparation. And this is not very much used in companies, yeah. But Tableau released a new tool which is called as Tableau Prep in 2018. We got this one. This is used for getting the data from different things, aggregating data, and then separating them, then manipulating data like an ETL tool. but I'll say this is not a very successful one. So no need to worry about that, but definitely get some idea about what is PrEP, how do we use that, at least some theoretical knowledge that will definitely help you out. So here you will have the flows. So what we call is the job flows. This is a term which we have to use if we say Tableau PrEP, but not really needed, but always good to know different components. Okay, so where we started is where we are ending up now. And finally, complete your Tableau certifications. This is what said. So complete your certifications, and it will be a 1 hour test. Pass percent is 70, and you can easily crack the certifications, and even you can get above 90% as well. So you can get that. So hang on for a minute. I'll try to show you how this certification looks like. And where is that? So give me 1 minute. I'll just connect to the WhatsApp web app, and then I'll try to show you the certification of one student. So hang on for a minute. So that WhatsApp. So definitely do that, because it definitely adds some meaningful or weightage to your resumes. And connecting to web here. So give me a few minutes, please. And if somebody else got WhatsApp is open on my PC. So my kid is using web WhatsApp. My kid is very much updated in technology, and I don't know those many features. They grow very fast, very fast. Web WhatsApp, and yeah, let's scan this code. Come on. Okay. Scanned it. I think now the certification cost is around 7,500. In COVID time, it was only 50%, but they have increased the price now because everyone is writing certification, which is a good news. But not everyone are qualifying because of lack of knowledge. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Cannot view this photo because it's no longer on your phone. That's bad. Let me look at that. Why it's not there? Not this one. This one. Yeah, not this one. Downloaded a different one. Sorry, and 86 KB. Oh, that's bad. Let me look at email. It takes too long. I'll just share that in your WhatsApp. It is taking too long. And let's see here, Tableau certification. I asked the student to send me, and he's sending now in a minute. Very nice. He's responding very quick. Okay, that is in. It's bad. It's taking a long time. Okay, so while I search, do you have any other questions, comments, concerns, anything? Right, where is the certification? So if you don't have any questions, that's nice. Certification. Okay, so where is it's been a very long time. Yeah, summary results. So I got something here for you. Right, so I got something. So just download this and show you now. Okay, so sharing the screen. So you should be able to see that on the screen. So this is how the final certification looks like. And once you are qualified, you will get your summary results in this way. So when you took the exam and how much you scored and what areas you are good, what areas you scored, how much percentage. So this is what it tells you that. And so this is your passing score, but this is your final score, and this will be the grade. So minimum cutoff is 70. All right, and that is what it shows. This is one for one of the student. So this is how your certification looks like, and you will get the badge as well. So you can keep that logo, you can keep that badge on your resume and present it to the interviewer. That definitely adds you a lot of value. Okay, so that's all from my side. And did I deliver what is promised? Should be, isn't it? So you can speak up now.
Satisfied, sir.
So this is what I promised you on day 1, July 4th. What we'll be covering up. 2.5 duration, did we cross that? How many days we took? 77 days. So 60, 30, 30, then 17. So approximately 2.5 months. So this is what I took. This is what I took, and this is what versus what was promised. So 1 to 1.5 hours a day, not more than that. And all right. So I'm done from my side, unless you have any questions to ask. So tomorrow there's no class. All right, so from tomorrow there's no class. So we're all done. All right then, so I'll wish you all the very best and attend the interviews, and please share back the questions you are getting in the interview. And once you get selected, or once you crossed, once you attempted any certifications or any interviews, then share your experience with me. So that will be helpful for the next coming students. And once you get into the job, so please intimate me again, and I'll be very happy for you. I don't need anything, so just intimate that you got selected. But that's all I need. All right, so I'm done. Anyone has anything to say? Yes, sorry.
Sir, my resume.
Yeah, we'll meet up today and we'll finish it off, Harish. That's my word. So you will have your resume
Am I
today.
troubling you, sir?
Mhm.
Am I troubling you regarding my resume,
No,
sir?
no, it's my job to do. So I have to do it. I cannot say do it yourself. No, that's my job. I'll do it for you.
For
But
sure, sir.
you have to attend. Right. So I can't attend that.
Okay, sir. When, sir, at what time I can expect that?
Maybe at 3 o'clock, Harish. Is that fine?
Okay, sir. I am fine, sir. If you are okay at any time, I am okay, sir.
Sure. So why I said 3 means today is one of my colleague birthday, and he was there with me from last 10 years in the same company. So I just want to visit his home, surprise him with a cake, and then I want
Else,
to come.
if you are engaged for today, tomorrow you will be free, no, sir? A Sunday.
Now we'll do it today itself. For Sunday, spend some time with family and kids. So no Sundays, only
Okay.
today.
Fine, sir. It's up to you, sir. I don't force for anything. Okay, sir.
Sure, sure. We'll definitely do that. And that's the only task I have for today. So we'll definitely do.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
So
Thanks a
visit
lot.
his and surprise him, and then come back, and I'll be on your job.
Fine, sir. Okay, fine, sir. Okay.
So he'll feel happy that his manager visited his home on his birthday. So he'll feel happy for that. Do that.
Sir, very kind of you, sir. You will be very polite to everybody, sir. It's very good news. Very good to listen from you. Actually, I hope I have a manager like you, sir.
Awesome. That's interesting. Say we'll behave like how somebody else behaved with us. So my manager used to be very polite and very caring and helped me a lot of things to understand. And in the real world, we don't find that kind of manager. So I just inherited the qualities from my manager and just using them. It gives a positive results. I never know that. It's a very positive way of dealing with people. It's good to have. So everyone should have some important skills. If you are rude to your fellow members, then you don't get results. If you are polite, if you are caring, then you get the things. Even if they're not willing to do, they'll just do it for you, because just for you. So that's what we do, and we have to follow that. It's difficult.
Nowadays, we cannot expect, sir, like that.
Yeah.
Friend.
True.
Very
true.
hard to find people like them.
True. So every company I worked, I don't know, by God's grace, I got very beautiful managers where they supported me. So even if I'm resigning, they were saying, no problem, go ahead, you have a very good future. Leave the work here, even if it is notice period. So ignore that. Focus on the new job, learn new things. And they sent me for training as well. It's a very good company. I worked for Satyam, and when it was Satyam, not Tech Mahindra. So I used to have very good managers and program managers. They're very nice. Even they are in touch. Even today, I kept them in touch today because they are our mentors for lifetime.
Oh,
That's the
correct,
gift
sir.
we have. I don't know how many will get it. I'm getting it from the day one.
Super, sir.
Okay, so that's all for today. That's all the end of the course. Wishing you a very good luck for your success, and signing
Sir,
off.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.